I'm so excited to bring up on stage and welcome MediaPost's Automotive Marketer of the Year, Russell Wagner.
Thank you very much for having me, and for my team as well, and the recognition. We really appreciate it.
It wasn't that hard. I mean, if you look at the year you all have had, it's been incredible, and marketing has had a lot to do with it. I mean, you have great vehicles, but the marketing has been exceptional as well. So I think we have to talk about the Super Bowl.
Which one?
I know, right? All of the Super Bowls. Let's start with last year. I mean, Binky Dad. Who doesn't love Binky Dad? Are we going to watch it and then talk?
Well, yeah, why don't just in case you weren't one of the 100 million people watching the Super Bowl, let's just play it so you can see it.
Checking in? Yes.
You remembered her favorite Binky, right?
Binky.
You forgot the Binky?
I forgot the Binky.
Tragic. Hashtag Binky Dad. OMG, guys, he forgot the Binky.
Hey, it's Binky Dad. Hey, go that way.
Our top story, a father has forgotten the Binky, but he's capturing hearts.
Binky Dad needs an escort.
Time out for Binky Dad!
Binky Dad, you're my hero.
Binky.
She only likes the blue one.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So that was actually, I've driven the Telluride, and I'm not quite like that, but close. And it is actually a very capable vehicle. So you were actually showing its chops in that spot, along with being adorable, right?
Everything it did in that spot, it actually did. There might be a little bruises on it, but it shows what it is capable of. And hopefully no one has to do that, but it was very fun. You know, besides the Super Bowl ad, you know, we try to do things totally integrated. So, you know, some print ads, great, those are wonderful. And then we had a couple of other fun things that we liked. So we started with the Binky, and we realized there was no emoji for a Binky. So we started a petition to try to get people and to Apple and to create an emoji. So that was one thing we did. The second thing, well, Playtex makes Binkies, so we talked to them and they helped us on their website. And then the last thing was we did a fun thing on TikTok, which was, you know, that you see it at the end and Dad's driving back to get the Binky because he forgot the blue one. And we gave 3 or 4 different alternative endings to the way it was, and that had a lot of great engagement afterwards. So it just kept the Super Bowl and the campaign going for further than just one night.
Well, and most of us with kids have had that experience where it really is the blue one or the green one or the red one, and it has to be that one. So it's not really that far from reality, right? So broadcast is a really big part of any marketer's job. But so is taking your message to the streets, so to speak, you know, the streets. Get it? Your cars, the street. Okay, just want to make sure you got it. So how does a brand like Kia get out there and, more importantly, stand out from the rest?
You know, in this day and age, especially from automotive, we're all talking about EVs, electrification, should I, shouldn't I, is a brand going to do it, not going to do it? And it's a story that, you know, we can't just tell in television. We just can't tell from a digital perspective. You have to have a little time. So we've been trying to find places to tell that story. One of them is a lovely tour that goes around the country for the last few years called Electrify Expo. If you haven't gone, it comes to your neighborhood, I highly suggest attending. It's electric cars, electric scooters, electric bikes, but it lets people get a little bit of an education on what it is. So that's one thing that we've done. Another thing is, you know, we talked a little bit about EV9, which, by the way, I think a lot of you were in this room when EV9 this morning was announced as winner of World Car of the Year. So that's a really proud moment for the brand. But the EV9 is one of our most expensive vehicles, $55,000 to $75,000, depending on how much you equip it. And we figure household income's got to be significantly higher than what we've done in the past. So more than 150,000, almost 200,000. So where do you go to find that type of audience? Well, of course, you go to Pebble Beach in August to the Quail, where the average attendee's household income is over $500,000. So right audience, right? And you can see some photos on the screen that we were there. And then the next question that we got while people came up to our booth, and why is Kia here again? And so we pointed to our EV6, and we had an EV6 GT there as well with a couple of our partners. And we said, well, you see that EV6 GT over there? That thing goes 0 to 60 in under 3.4 seconds with 576 horsepower. And it beat that Lamborghini and Ferrari over there, and you can get 6 of those for one of those. And they're like, okay, we get it. So it was a great experience that Kia had never been at, and people saw the real reason we were there. And then, we've done some other things, integrations with America's Got Talent. And then we just had another new one, I think if we go to the next one, that we're really proud of. We are partners on the West Coast with this building called the Kia Forum, a great music venue if you haven't been there, or the next time you're flying into LAX, just look out the left side of your window and there'll be a big Kia logo in a building. That's the Kia Forum.
What a great story you've got up there too, on the right there. That's a good story.
Somebody wrote about that. That's yes. So the idea was, what do we do on the East Coast? And Orlando is a big market, not only for tourism, but for us. We are number 2 in market share, only behind Toyota. So we wanted to find a way that we could keep growing that market. So we're a partner with the NBA Orlando Magic, and they had the opportunity for a new naming rights for their building, and it is now called the Kia Center. If you go see a Magic game or any of the events at what used to be Amway Center, a great building, still a great building, it just has a new name.
A better name, a catchier name, right? Much catchier. So taking the Kia story to the people is obviously a theme that we're talking about. And you've created a couple of really big splashes in just the last 3 to 4 months, with some of them in new and unexpected places other than just arenas. So what is guiding this? We're a brand that has been an underdog for years. And we, as recently as 4 or 5 years ago, we were the number 10 retail selling brand. And then this past year, we were number 5. I don't know that we can really use the underdog thing anymore. So now what we have to do is we have to challenge ourselves, our team members. Who haven't we told the story to of Kia? Because Kia's been changing, and a lot of people are seeing that. So we figured out maybe we need to pilot a couple of new things. And one of the things I think you see on the screen, one of the things you see on the screen is this thing called esports. Now, when we started talking about that internally, the last time I played esports was, I think, Pac-Man, like 30 years ago. But what really it is about is, it is not about 18-year-olds. It is about 25 to 40-year-olds that are engaged in a serious gaming. When we look at it, more than 50% of the people that either watch or participate in esports do not watch NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, or NHL. So there was a whole chunk of people that we weren't talking to. We have a great partnership with the NBA, but we weren't talking to them. So we started to engage, and we took some of the lessons from the NBA, and that was, we did a league deal with the League of Legends, and then we did 2 team deals. And the most important thing about all this, 1 in 4 of them is going to buy a new vehicle this year. So it made sense for us from a new audience perspective, growing them with the brand, and then hopefully they'll become part of the Kia family. So that was a big deal that we really liked. We were here in New York, Times Square, back at the beginning of this year. It was our 4th year in a row. And one of the things that we really do love is
not everyone gets to come to New York City, yet alone come to New York City for New Year's Eve, which, by the way, if you haven't done it, I highly encourage you. I was fortunate enough to do it this year, first time in my entire life doing it. It's an amazing moment. It's the safest moment, and highly encourage. But recognizing that you can't all get here, we figured we'd take the moment to as many people as we could. So we took the numerals that are on top of the One Times Square Tower, shipped them to LA, and started a cross-country tour so that people would be able to experience the numerals, take photos with the numerals, and as we say, we're bringing the hopes and all the future positive thoughts for the next year for them to see, and that's what you see on here, and it was really successful for us. We got a lot of engagement in that area.
So that when they see them on TV, they can say, oh, I saw those numbers. I was there. So.
And then the last one, we hadn't been in CES in a really long time. CES, Consumer Electronics Show. I think maybe it's been changed to CAS, Consumer Automotive Show, but considering there's so many autos there. But we wanted to make a statement. Again, why are we there? And we had two really good reasons from the Kia brand standpoint. One was we're working on what we call purpose-built vehicles, platform-beyond vehicles, for whether they're ride-hailing, taxis, delivery trucks. So that's another business that we're just starting to get into. And then the second thing is we talked about electric vehicles, but more importantly, electric vehicles can do things that normal gas cars can't. And one of the things they can do, of which the EV9 that is on display, if you get a chance afterwards to go to our booth, you can see this. If your house goes out, the power goes out in your house. So let's say you're in Florida and unfortunately it's hurricane season and a hurricane knocks your power out for 6 hours, 12 hours, the car can power your house.
It's a generator on wheels.
It is a generator on wheels. So that house was powered by that little blue vehicle in front of it during CES. That was the demonstration that we wanted to show.
And who doesn't want a generator on wheels? I mean, even if you don't live in Florida, I think Portland had some weather and New York's getting some rain today. It happens, right? Everybody needs a generator on wheels. So now we need to transition to Super Bowl again because we just can't stop talking about Super Bowl. And 2024 was another fantastic amount of creative and the EV9. So why don't we'll watch it and then we'll talk. What?
So, hold on one second. Back up two. So,
sorry.
One of the themes that you're starting to see in our Super Bowl ads, and I sort of made a joke about it if you weren't one of the 100 million people. By the way, this year was 123 million, and I think the most viewed thing since the moon landing in 1969. But it's a lot of people, right? And you know, how do you create a message that is going to resonate with as many of those people as possible? It's really easy to say, okay, I'm going to talk to these 30 million people over here, or maybe these 20 over here, or these 40 over here, but how do you talk to 100 million plus? And I think that's one of the things that, you know, our team has been really good at, is finding the insights that will resonate, whether it resonates personally with your own experience, or an experience of somebody you know, or a friend or a family member, that you can go, I understand what they're trying to say. And I think, once again, we were able to do that with this one, so I'll let you play it now, if you don't mind.
It's been a night, such a long night. Watch myself disappear. Every road that's wrong seems like the road I'm on. Every side just seems unclear. And I wish I was here. And I wish I was here.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So, Not bad. So a lot of people thought it was a great ad. USA Today is a public poll that everyone can vote on. It was voted as the #3 ad. A couple of insights before I go to the next slide. First of all, out of 60 ads in the Super Bowl, that is one of 4 that doesn't have a celebrity in it, and it still delivered the message. Maybe you can call the music a celebrity. Anyone know who the music is, by the way? Cat Power, Coldplay. So you have a strong message, it resonates. It doesn't necessarily need the assistance of a celebrity. The young woman in the ad, when we first figured out we wanted to do this concept, we're like, okay, do we get a stunt double and then somebody that can act? And the goal was, well, can we find both? So this was filmed up in Canada. They have a lot of rinks up in Canada, and we were able to find, and she did 95% of what you see on the screen. She acted, she did it all. I think it was the triple axle one that we had to have a little stunt double in there. But other than that, she did it all, and it was outstanding, and she was great. And then if you go to the next one, so a lot of stats, but I think the biggest thing, because this is the question I always get, Tanya, is why are you doing a Super Bowl ad for an EV? You're not going to sell that many. And the idea is we didn't do it for the EV9. It's a nice benefit that we made people aware we have an EV9. We did it because we have an internal mantra at Kia that is, when people are thinking about getting an electric vehicle, they think, I'm considering a Tesla and we want to be the next word after and. So we've got a Nero EV, we've got an EV6, we've got an EV9, we've got hybrids, we've got plug-in hybrids, we've got a lot of electric vehicles. And so far, January and February this year, we are #2 in retail sales, only behind Tesla. So it's starting to do what we're looking for it to do. And then the last thing is, when you look at some of the stats here, that the shopping helped the brand. So yes, it helped EV9, but our search interest, you look at some of the numbers, it let people see, well, I might not be looking for an EV, but maybe I'm looking for a Telluride, or maybe I'm looking for a K5 sedan. So it got people to find out more about the Kia brand.
And you managed to be emotional and yet still educate and show the attributes of the vehicle. The vehicle actually lit up the rink at the end, the pond, and the music was plugged in. So, that was not acting for the car. The EV9 can actually do that, right?
Yeah, so we always have this other thing that we're trying to do is the car should be the hero of the ad at the end of the day, right? So yes, it got them from the rink out to Grandpa's. Yes, it helped power it up. And it's not overt, it's just part of naturally in the story. So it went very well. And again, like I said, most people can relate. A family member that wasn't able to be at somebody's soccer game, baseball game, skating rink, something like that. And I think that's why it resonated really well.
Grandpa's got a really cool house, too. I don't know where you found that house, but that's pretty awesome, too. Anyway, so CSR, over the last 5 years, you've really expanded your corporate giving, and it's been a deliberate effort, and it seems to be a focused and a genuine effort. It's not just putting your name on things or throwing money at things. So can you talk a little bit about that, your philosophy and the purpose behind it?
Sure. I know I have a couple things that I want to show, but before I do that, so Kia has been giving for years. It's not like all of a sudden they started doing that. But the brand wasn't getting the recognition or credit for it, and the local dealers in all of their markets, we have over 750 dealers all across the US, all of them give back in some way or some form. But it just wasn't getting the credit for it. So we created the platform called Accelerate the Good. We started it about 4 years ago, and we started finding ways that we could tell the stories of what we as a brand stand for and what our dealers are a part of, because right now, for every car that is sold, they are making a contribution. We are matching it, and we are taking those funds and rolling them up. And 2 years ago, we started by actually telling it on a broader perspective. Most people do a year-end sales event in the automotive business, right? The month of December, it's like, we got to make our sales numbers, we're going to sell some cars, let's do a sales event. And we said, we're going to do it differently. We're going to make a donation for every car sold, and we talked about it. And we had a lot of partners, but we focused on one. So maybe we can play this one ad, if you don't mind.
That's normal.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So, over $30 million in just the last 4 years, 8 million just last year. Last year was 1.8, and it's, I think, something that we're really proud of. And you know, on behalf of the Kia dealers and everyone at Kia, I'm sure there are some of you out there, including Tanya, that make donations to St. Jude, and I'd like to thank you. Hold. Aspen, can you come up here?
We have a special guest.
So, Aspen, is there, by the way, Aspen was in that commercial that you saw. So if I get to tell just for a minute of your story, is that okay? I'll tell you. Okay, good. So at 2 years old, Aspen was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, and she went for treatments at St. Jude's, and here she is. 8 years old, in remission, because of the donations. Is there anything you'd like to say to anybody out there?
Thank you for fundraising for us.
Thank you very much, Aspen. So
Said I wasn't going to cry.
That's why we do it.
Unfortunately, I'm crying, so.
I don't know what else to say after that.
You want to just watch us cry for 5 minutes? We can do that if you'd like. That is just everything. And thank you so much for coming up on stage. You're very brave coming up here in front of all these people who are very happy to see you. So I'm glad Kia was able to help you.
So with that, I think maybe we should just all go get a drink right now, unless there's anything else. But thank you again, everyone. We appreciate, there's a lot of people in this room that are on our team, a lot of partners, and we really appreciate everything you do to help the Kia brand. And thank you in advance for everything you'll do in 2024. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here.